And success. The exploring can begin. NASA launched the spacecraft called InSight back in May and successfully landed it yesterday afternoon. What a 6.5 minutes that was, right? This morning, NASA Ambassador Danielle Jones is here to explain. That's all they had, right, to be able to land this successfully.
That's all they had. They call it 7 minutes of terror for a reason. And really, landing on Mars is extremely difficult. We only have a 40% chance of success. Yeah, and the reason is because the spacecraft is going to heat up to 2,700 degrees, which is hot enough to melt steel. It has bombs and pyrotechnics to deploy legs. It's a very complicated series of events that have to happen just so. Not only that, but we don't control it with a joystick. Once it starts falling,
really weird
our hands are up and we're tied. So everything depends on mathematics and engineering and years of preparation that these people put into InSight.
It's incredible. So what is InSight?
InSight is a lander, and it's the first thing that we've ever put on a different planet to dig and go inside of a planet. And so what it's going to do is, now that it's landed, it's going to start deploying lots of different tools. It's going to dig down 16 feet into the terrain of Mars. And it's going to detect, using radio signals, how Mars is wobbling as it orbits the sun. That's going to tell us, maybe will tell us, what Mars is made of. Okay. It's also going to heat up a little bit and measure how fast it loses that heat. That's going to also tell us how water evolves on planets, because Mars and Earth are very, very similar, but yet they've turned out to be two extremely different places, and we want to know why. There's not a lot we know about Mars. So using these kind of tools, and this is the first time that we've sent a craft that isn't a rover. It's going to stay where it is. And we landed it in basically what we call a giant parking lot, because it's one of the few places on Mars where we know it's probably going to be okay. But we're still not in the clear yet. Once it starts digging, if it hits any kind of big rocks, anything other than soil, we might be out of luck. Yeah.
That would be heartbreaking.
No, sure.
This sounds fascinating. The end goal, I'm guessing here, is to see when and if we can put any kind of humans on Mars.
Sure, and as they're digging, if they find out that the heat stays and leaves in different kinds of ways, we'll know if there's possibly water underneath the surface, which will change a lot about how we can inhabit Mars and how we're going to make it habitable for humans to at least visit, if not stay there.
I mean, I feel like I'm in a sci-fi film.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this craft is pretty amazing. It traveled 300 million miles in a vacuum of space and landed without any controls at all. I mean, when you see the joy in the mission control room, if you watched yesterday live, there were tears and screaming, because this really is years of work, thousands and thousands of hours of manpower and mathematics, and I'm so proud to be a part of the history of this. And it's a monumental craft, and no, it's pretty amazing.
It sounds incredible. And so it's going to be on Mars for 2 years, correct?
Correct. The mission is 2 years. A lot of times, though, our missions are certain numbers, and we end up extending them because our crafts are a lot more durable than we think they are, which is amazing.
Sure.
And with this, we also sent 2 suitcase-sized satellites. And these satellites are enabling us not to have to wait for hours and hours to get information back. These satellites are giving us things basically in real time. So that's how we're already getting pictures back and data back. And that's why the 7 minutes, I mean, that's nothing compared to what we used to wait.
That's so incredible. Danielle, thank you so much. And you can follow updates about the Mars mission on Twitter at NASA InSight. You can also find more details on nasa.gov/InSight. We're going to keep checking in with Danielle as InSight continues to give us information from Mars. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.